Hey Randy, thank you for the follow. Hope you're doing good. Let me turn this up a little bit. Yeah. Achendam, how are you? Thank you for liking up the live. How are things going? You hearing me clearly? Okay, I'm doing fine. Achendam. Okay, yeah, I am doing good. How was your day? I did a live early today, you know. I was on a live early today. It was good. It was good. I'm gonna charge this phone. And I was on YT live as well. I was driving at that time. So I was just like literally just talking. But it was good either way. Yeah. It was good. Mac Clothing and Tamariva. I remember to go ahead and what I think the name again? Collect your heart me's. Yeah, I haven't been saying that much. But definitely go ahead and send in your heart me's and do all the little things that you're supposed to do with them. Alright, remember to share the live as well, even to one person. And like up the live. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. Alright, so other persons can actually get the live. And hopefully it will get onto the FYP page. Yeah. Nobody's Bay. Welcome again. A disciple of God, welcome. I wonder how election day go at Jamaica, you know. Wonder how that went. Or who is winning. Alright, I guess tomorrow morning I'll wake up and see who is the winner. Shells is blessed. Good evening to you too. Marva Thompson, welcome. How art thou? Let's see if this live broadcasting. Okay, yeah. Okay. What time is it now for you? I think it's like 8 o'clock, right, Marva? It's around 8 o'clock for you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And Shells is blessed. What time is it for you now? So I was a little bit tired when I got home today, you know. Probably because I get up so early. 8 p.m. Okay. It's 7 o'clock where I'm at now. Otras, hola. Yeah, when I got home this evening, I was like so tired. And just eat my food. And just kind of knuckled for probably like 1 hour. But you know, sometimes when you get those power naps, it feels good. Yeah, that was it for me. After I took that little, I don't think I get 1 hour, but it did feel good. I'm not lie, it was good. So work from home, momtrepreneur or mompreneur. Okay, just leaving work. Yeah, feels exhausting. I don't know why. If it's probably because I get up so early in the morning and not really going to bed early. I say initially I was gonna try start going for 9 o'clock. Yeah, so I was gonna try to start go to bed 9 o'clock. And even when I said that, I still can't go to bed 9 o'clock because by the time I go into bed, I still cannot sleep. So, yeah. But otherwise, your day went well. And you guys can top up the live, you know. Yeah, man. Exercise this little finger so that way you don't have arthritis pain. All right. It doesn't hurt to top up the live. Share it as well, even to one person. Okay. What unit you work on, Shells? Shells is blessed. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. All right. Just double tap the screen 1 and 2 times. All right. Let me know that you guys are still here. Nursing with Mo. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Pharmacy tech. Okay, nice, nice. You plan on becoming a pharmacist, or you're not so sure which route you're going to be going? Let me see if Mo, nursing with Mo. No nurse? Okay, okay. Yeah, everybody have them pathway. Once you know yours, you know, then definitely you just go with it. Hi on YT, how are you doing? And if you haven't followed me, I say go ahead and follow me or subscribe to my YT page at ThinkNursing. You can also follow me on TikTok at ThinkNursing as well. All right, I share long form content over on YT. So all of my lives, I usually put them over by YT so you can actually see them. So they're actually being streamed over that side now. So if you miss it, if you come on late and you want to catch up on what we're talking, because sometimes the lives are a little bit long, feel free to go over to my YT page at ThinkNursing. All right, and there's a ton of information over there for you to enjoy. All right, so go over there and just watch the videos. You leave your comments. If you have any questions, you can always come back to TikTok, or you can text me on my number, or just leave a comment and I'll respond to that message. All right. Sister B, welcome, welcome. Nursing content is your favorite? Okay, nice. Not a problem. Yeah, I share a lot of nursing content. I initially had started out with my background. Some people can know where I'm coming from, and then from there, hopefully you'll be able to relate on certain things. But yeah, I do share a lot of nursing content. That's what the page is designed for, hence why the name Think Nursing. I don't know if you know the YT page called Think Media. They talk about everything, you know, media-wise. So it's the same concept with the Think Nursing. All right, I need help with patho. Okay, okay. So how are we going to do that now? How are we going to do that now? So what areas you need help in? I remember utilize your YT videos. Those are very good. They have, there are so many evidence-based, some really nice, you know, YT videos that you can actually go on, put in your condition or look up the condition and see how they explain it. Some persons, if you're able to see things, you're able to explain a little bit better. And that was it for me. So I did utilize a lot of YT videos. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to some of those so it can help you during that process. But I always say once you get pathophys, you know, down, you're good to go in terms of with the additional content. All right, so definitely pin a notice for viewers to contact you. How me do that? Pin a notice. You can send a direct message right now. Come up, follow along for more. I guess. I don't know. Let's see what this does. All right, so definitely go ahead and do that. And thank you for the follow. All right, Global Travel Services, welcome, welcome. Oh, so the Heart Me there. So remember to go ahead and do the things that the Heart Me is supposed to, you know, you're supposed to do at the Heart Me. Like yesterday, was yesterday? I think it was yesterday. No, Labor Day. I learned that there are so many things that you're supposed to be doing as a part of the Heart Me. So make sure when you send out your Heart Me, if you're somebody that is very active on TikTok, you need to go ahead and do all of those little things. So you like up the live. What else? Share up the live. And I think there are some other things. So definitely don't let your Heart Me go in vain. All right. I think I was wasting mine because I wasn't really doing much. I just go on to people live. Just give them some roses. Give them some, you know, the one little Heart Me. And we just continue. Move on. You understand? So definitely utilize up your Heart Me's, whatever you're supposed to do with it. All right. Yes, apparently it's, you know, when you do that, it helps with the engagement. So if you're trying to get persons like me, you know, wanting to get people to my platform and everybody else, you know, wanting followers, That is one way for you to gain followers. When you do your heart me, your daily heart meals, you send that out, it opens up like a can of worm, it seems. So I don't know. I'm new to TikTok in a sense, so I'm just learning. But you'll see me here come and just say tap up the live. That's all me I ask for. Tap up the live, because I think when you tap, the more you tap, the more it gets out to other persons out there. And that's what I want. I want more persons, nurses, you know, who are interested in the content to be here. Garfield, thank you for the follow. Healthy Body 609. Okay. I need help with mine. All right. I need help with mine. So definitely do that. All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. So how was your day been? I know, not Achendum. Who said that their day was tired again? I think it was Shells. You guys had a wonderful day. As I said, mine was okay. I went to visit around 5 patients. Yeah, there was this lady that I was excited for. So she was diagnosed with breast cancer. For like 3 weeks ago, she got the results from her mammogram. She went in, saw the oncologist. She did a cardiac evaluation just to make sure everything is fine. Went back to just check on her today. She was in the hospital. She had her mastectomy done, and that was just like something, you know, wonderful. And this is not no rich up nobody. Like, you know, these persons are median class, let's just say. You understand? So they have insurance and it come through for them, and that was just one of the good news for today. I had another patient who had a fall. He's had cataract surgery, and he fell, and on that same eye that he did the surgery on, he bumped it on like the edge of the table, and so he was having blur vision and all. So I sent him into the emergency room, went to see him today. They never admitted him, so that was good. They did CT scans, there's no bleed, and that was another plus. So my day went well overall. Yeah. All right, so I did plan that we were gonna talk a little bit. Untouchable Lexi, hola, welcome. We're gonna talk a little bit about, where is that? And then we can probably do, yeah. So even though, you know, a lot of times I go out and it sounds like, you know, it's not the best day I'm having. Yeah, there are some really good success stories out there that are really, you know, that puts a smile on my face a lot of times. So some of them are like, you know, stories like these. Oh, I got fired from one of my patients. My patient was like, yeah, apparently someone went in, and that I did a video, but I just didn't post it as yet, where so you'll find out that a lot of times I'll go in, or providers will go in, and the patients will tell you that them fire the service. They fire you, they fire the service, they don't want anybody else. You understand, to come and see them, which is not good, because usually when they're starting over, it's a lot. It's a lot for them to start over. So you have to just try and see if you can fix whatever issue they were having, so that way they don't lose all of their benefits with certain things that you're assisting with. And so I went in, but when I was reading the notes from before, I think it was more of, oh, I'm gonna have to turn this thing on. I think I'm low enough though, right? So I was reading the notes, and you know, sometimes you're reading the notes and you can feel the energy in the notes. Like somebody just put in all of the energy in the notes as to how them feeling. And I was reading the notes and I was like, oh my word. They were saying basically that the family members were crazy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? People don't remember that these are legal documents. Like if these relative or the patients do request their medical record, and reading through this and see that you go there and examine, you only have one patient in the house, you know, but yet still you go and you formulate your own opinion, and you just right across the board just say everybody crazy, and you put it in the patient's notes. Like that is going to be a big problem for you. You understand? It is going to be a big problem for you. So I always say, be careful of the energy that you go out there with, because of that encounter. I don't know what the encounter was at the time with that provider. It turned out that when I show up, I got the end of it. You understand? Because the family members never really liked certain things that were going on. So they did have me come in and see them because they wanted their narcotics refill. You understand? And then after, they were like, yeah, the person that they had before, they are not enjoying anything about the conversation that they had. And so this is going to be it. This is the fire in the company, and the fire me as well. So I say, I totally understand, but I was trying to see if, you know, there is something that I can do, because that person was just going there for that one. You know, sometimes you have providers who go in just to do like admissions and that's it. And then you'll have other providers that goes in for follow-up. So a lot of times you might find out that they have really bad encounters with persons that are doing the admission. And so that kind of just trickle down to everybody else that goes in. And it's the same thing, like if you're having a really bad day and you find yourself just not in the frame of mind, stay away from the people in the yard. You understand? I just say stay away from them hosts, because when you go into their space, as I say, your energy, it gives off, and then they are gonna just literally be either blowing up at you, you understand, because they weren't able to express themselves to the previous provider how they wanted, you understand? And so when you go there, you're meeting them for the first time, and this is it. You understand? You just have to take a little time and just a step back, because you just don't want to be there for too long. So just be careful of your energy when you go there. If you know that you're not in the frame of mind, you never get enough sleep, you're feeling exhausted, tired. Yes, we understand that some of the visits are very easy. You know, don't rush yourself and go there, because you're just making it bad for the patient as well as for the service. And not even for the service, because yes, in as much as we want, you know, the money, because that's the end result, you want the money, at the end of the day, we still need to look out for the patients. And a lot of these patients, they don't have persons to assist them with getting to different locations to get testing done. And so we bringing the service to them is a plus. So in as much as probably, yes, we might be like, yeah, whatever, try and just be mindful of your energy, your attitude when you go to the patients in the house, because it's going to trickle down to everybody else that comes in to see them. And that was it. They already made that decision before you got there. No reflection on you. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of times you might hear this say, oh yeah, they had an encounter with this person and it was a worse encounter. And you just have to sit down, and not necessarily sit down, because I don't really sit down when I go and see them. But you have to literally stay there and just listen to all their complaints. You don't want to like dismiss them during that time, because sometimes if you listen to them and they realize, you know, this is the kind of person you are, they will tend to work with you. And if, especially when you explain to them, and that's the one thing I always say, once you explain things to your patients, they understand the expectations and all, then, you know, definitely things will be good in terms of the relationship that you have with them. And that's the most important thing. When people don't know things, a lot of times we tend to become ignorant. You understand? We become so frustrated when we don't know a lot of things. And so you don't want it to be a case where you're having patients sign up to a service, they don't know what to expect. You understand? Sometimes I feel as though it's only one person coming to their house, but only to find out that there's probably 6 persons coming in, because you have a social worker that you might refer them to, you might have physiotherapy, you might have wound care, you have a regular nurse going in for service, you might have the home health aide, which I always enjoy the home health aide, because they always come to, like, you know, help out with everything else. But sometimes they're not thinking that you're gonna have the nurse practitioner come in there plus all of the other persons that are dropping in. If somebody's to get an EKG, they're not expecting that. You understand? So you have to open up and let them know this is what the service do offer, and let them know from beginning whether or not it is something that they will want to continue with. Because after, and you realize that you're sending somebody to do EKG, chest x-ray, you're sending somebody to do blood work, it becomes frustrating. It becomes frustrating. You understand? And that's it. And especially when they're on their narcs. Yeah, when they're on their narcs and they're running low, you don't want to be in that kind of environment where you're going to be like, oh, explaining to them that this is what. No. These people will literally eat off your head. You understand? So be careful. Yes, Abby. Definitely. All right. Thank you guys for joining in with the live. If you don't mind topping up tap up the screen, tap up the live. Let me find that little thing that makes the sound. Where is it? Naresh, I see you over here. Hola, welcome. How are you doing? Where is that thing? There is something that you can use to tap the screen. Sound effects. See? Got it. Where you look? I am in Texas. You're in Toronto? Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm in Texas. No, so it's pretty good out here. Pretty all right. How is the temperature over there? Is it still warm? Yeah. So you're planning on moving from Toronto to here, Abby? Any chance? Or you love the cold? But say, I tell you, I don't know. But if you haven't heard my story, I was in Maine before. You know, I was in Maine and I decided to go into Canada. Maine already cold, and Canada is no different. So me decided to wear my little blouse. You know, it's little sleeveless. Yeah, drive into Canada. Oh my word! Couldn't come out of the car because the place was just so cold. Yeah, it was sunny outside, but it was really, really cold. But it was clean, and I guess it's the section that I was in. It did just look a little bit boring. Yeah, it was looking a little bit boring. But it was closer to the border for, you know, right at the US border there. And when we were going through at the time, they never asked us. Well, we did have our green card and we did walk with the passport because we don't really know, you know, what they're gonna need. So we did have those. We were like driving through, and it was like a smooth, you know, process. They just asked us for paperwork and we just show them, and that was it. Icebox we live in. Oh yeah, I couldn't do it. I'm sorry, I couldn't do it. That was the fastest. I had to complete that contract real fast because it was too cold in Maine. It was too cold in Maine for me to continue with that. Dominion, hola, how are you doing? Bunny J. Lewis, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so the little ice that we get in Texas here. I think I see somebody said that they're in Texas. I would never move to the States. Whoa, that's a strong word. I totally understand. I totally understand. But why is that though? We're in Texas. Oh, Achemdon, you're in Texas. Okay, nice, nice. Yeah, I love Texas. I actually like Texas. I don't like the driving in Texas though. Yeah, the driving in Texas. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so crazy. Naresh, welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Yeah, the driving in Texas here is crazy. I don't know what's happening, but a lot of people, and you see when I see you drive one of those fancy car at Chendom, let me trouble you right about now. Do you drive a Tesla? Because I don't know what happened with the persons who drive Teslas in Texas, you know. I don't I don't know what's up with the people that might drive Tesla in Texas. I don't know if them have a license or not. No disrespect, but I'm sorry. The folks in Texas here, it's crazy when it comes on to driving. It is so crazy. Like the other day I was on the road and there was, you know, it was like 3 lanes, and there was a lady in her Tesla. So she was in the middle lane, right? So she wanted to go she wanted to exit. So she wanted to go into the far 3rd lane, right? To go into the exit, the filter there. And I tell you, I see the lady just make once run across the road. I said, no, sir. And the thing about it is that when these folks are driving and them know them bad drive, you know, them know them bad drive the entire traffic. You understand? The lanes of traffic there. You know that them don't stop. It's a serious thing. They don't stop. It's like them just slide over smoothly, go over that side, and they don't care. They hold their head straight like this and they're just continue driving. They don't care how many persons break up in order to prevent an accident from happening. It's awful here. It is awful. They must skate on the toll. Yes, something like that. But as I said, they don't look to see if, you know, if it is clear. It's like them just have their minds just set up to say, okay, then this is where I want to go, and them just press gas and just go over there. Them don't care. Them don't care. And so it gives me anxiety sometimes. So anytime I see anything like a Tesla, me just kind of pull back. Let them just take the, you know, give them way. Let them just do whatever they want to do, and then from there I'll continue. But yeah, you have to be very, very cautious when you're driving. And they always say do defensive driving. But nowadays, I drive for the people I'm on the road. So that's as far as I can see. Yeah, because it's crazy. I am doing good, Naresh. Where are you joining in from? Your name looks a little bit like you're joining in from. You can put it in the comment section. Let me not see where you're joining in from. Exactly, make them go on. Yes, because it's crazy. It's crazy, and it's just a thing. You realize it's a trend. It's a trend. Good night, Marvin. How are you? How is Georgia? I did saw you put that in the live the other day. How is Georgia doing? Stray Clark, welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so, you know, but otherwise, I love it down here. I love the space. This year wasn't that hot though, which is good. Because I was kind of looking and I was like, summer almost done. Summer done. You understand? So it was good this year in terms of the heat. Yeah. Unbroken, how are you doing? We realized you ran off the live last night. Well, not last night, this morning. Or this afternoon while we were chatting. How are you doing? Hope you get some rest. Everyone is moving to Texas. Yeah. They have so many, you know, new builds down here. The other day I went and looked at the space. I think it's the first. I think it's an Indian-based company. But the housing, oh my word. I think I have a book that I got. So the houses, you know, you have to act rich and go into some of these houses to look. Yeah. Because if you look too poor, probably them not allow you inside, you know. But you want to see, so you just go in and act bougie. Yeah. But anyways, I did go into one of them and it was so nice. It was starting at 1.5 million. Oh, what them money there? Lord have mercy. But anyways, it was starting at 1.5 million and there was just so much. You can see outdoors, like from every angle of the house, you can actually look outside, and it was really good. It's like you're with nature. Let's just see. Yeah, they have some huge houses down. Yeah, so that was it. I really did love it. I think it was called Tapestry. You can look online. Tapestry. That's the company. So that's this first built in the US here. So it's a new company here. And that was the first location in Texas here that they're building. But the design and everything is just like, yeah, it's really good. So definitely go online and look them up. And then from there, you can make a decision. Even upstairs, you know, the master bedroom outside, you know, you normally have like a little balcony. But on the balcony there is like grass. You know, the children's bedroom outside is grass. Upstairs, you know, grass out there. And downstairs is the same thing. They have the grass. I don't remember if there was a waterfall down there. And all of this is like inside the house. So the only thing I'm thinking about is like whenever you have those storms, I guess you have your regular, you know, your shutters them. So you can always, you're blind, so you can always pull those down. But yeah, it's more like you're just out there. It's really beautiful. So Unbroken, your dude was looking for me, so I had to hide. Me no know what you talk about in Unbroken, but you see me not attract them kind of people there. You understand? So you're good. All right, you're good. The company is Tapestry. Let me see. I think I have a book, but it's Tapestry. I did have a book the other day that I got. Because as we say, you know, it was really nice. Tapestry. Look them up. They're in Frisco, Texas. So they're building a few. I think they have probably like a few, probably like 2. They probably built already, or 3. I don't know. But it's really nice. You can look it up and see. I know Unbroken. I know. But welcome back. All right, welcome back. But you can look it up and see. But they have some really good design and everything is custom built. So whatever you want, you can ask for it.
Needs something.
Hold on 1 minute.
He needs an orange thing. He needs a...
Yeah, Texas is really nice. I want to begin my house buying journey in November. Frisco is expensive. Yeah, Frisco is expensive. So this is Tapestry. So total home environment, Tapestry. All right, and this is in Frisco, but I tell you, it's beautiful. So yeah, if we did rich, then definitely that's something. So when you look, the house seem like it's this is how the houses are being built. So it's like you're one with nature. So right out here is actually, so is a glass right here. And then outside you have like little pool, or a pool, something like that. Some water, stone and all them stuff there. But it's really nice. It looks very simple on the outside, but yeah. And then on top you have grass. So I don't know who will go up there so if you go play, but yeah, you have grass on top. So that's the roof. All right, that's the roof. So I don't know if you're able to see. Right under here is actually if you see, right, you see cars parked here. So right here is like the garage. This is the rooftop. So right here would have been like a child's room. You understand? I don't know who is gonna allow their child out there, so, but I wouldn't. Would have probably lock it off. But right up here is like a child's room, and it's really nice. So if they want to go out there and keep ball, they can go out there and keep ball. But it's really nice. The master bedroom was beautiful. It was like, and the bathroom, yeah man, them have a tree in the bathroom. I don't know who are climbing at the bathroom. Like, who is gonna climb a tree in the bathroom? So this is like the top. So however you want to design it, then definitely you can. No unbroken. I love your smile. No, dear. But yeah, they have some really nice properties over there. I'm trying to find the actual finish. Yeah, but look online. I don't know if they have them online, like, you know, the properties. But when you look, when I was driving in, it was just like a bunch of board. You know, a board run America. Lord, I was driving in and I saw this and I was like, what is it? What is this? It was like tons of boards just being put up. You understand? So let me see if I can. Okay, so this is the actual one that I was looking on. So you see, it just looks so simple. This is the rooftop with grass, and then yeah, that was really nice. It's so posh. So they said this is the first one that they're building here. So yeah, so if you want, you can go ahead and put in your order, all right, on your house. Yeah. If I'm moving to Texas, I'm in Texas now. Days of Our Life. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, or that TV show in a long time. Yeah. So as I say, it was Tapestry. Tapestry. All right, that's the name of it. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. All right, so all right, did you guys have any? Yes, I was up north for a while. Michibu, welcome. Salom, Gathiga, welcome. Island Spice, welcome. Stephanie, Christopher Hall. Yeah, and as usual, if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask them. All right, the other day we were talking about some things. Yeah, definitely. As I say, it's nice down here, so I love it. But we were talking about some things the other day. I will just go ahead and talk a little bit about orientation. I think we touched on orientation a bit. And we're talking about, like, just getting you prepared in terms of, especially for the international nurse, and not only for the international nurse, but if you're a new nurse or if you're transitioning or moving to another floor, you'll be getting your orientation, and orientation is going to help with making sure that some of those barriers, when it comes on to getting to know the unit and your roles, your responsibilities, things like that on the unit, your orientation will help with that in terms of policies and everything. So there's a good restaurant in Arlington called Jamaica Gaines School. It's good. Yeah, I do go there, but sometimes I go down there and I order them trio. So the food is good, don't get me wrong. But one day I ordered the curry goat, ordered the goat, the mutton. And I don't know, I think they put some skin in there. I'm not really used to goat meat with skin in there. And it kind of turned me off. Yeah, so I'm going to go back and ask them if it was, pork. Them say no, it's not pork. So I'm not really order any more mutton, because I don't want them get me, my taste bud confused.
Mommy,
So,
Mommy, can I have another timer?
oh no, Zarian, one time and that's it. Turn it off for me, please, and go to your bed. But yeah, the food is good, the jerk is good. But yeah, that's a good restaurant. 20-day move. I moved here in 2018, 2019, the ending of 2019. Yeah. So yeah, but I the food is actually good there, but it's a bit of a distance in terms of drive time for me. So yeah, I will take a trip down there probably not so often. Not in Texas. So I will definitely do that, and then from there. All right. So yeah. All right, Gabby and Samuels, welcome. How are you? Paulette Ebert, Kimmy, Agnes Tula, welcome. All right, so regarding the orientation, let me find that information. Yeah, so some of the common problems. Okay, nice. In November or December. Well, congratulations, and hope you find something real nice. All right. So we're gonna talk about some of like the challenges that a lot of persons tend to face during orientation. And we did talk about the language, the abbreviations, the slang, all of those things. The medical terminologies are things that a lot of persons tend to have a problem with during orientation. In orientation. All right, so especially for the new nurse or the international nurse, you might find out that the language barrier is one of the biggest problem. All right, and if you don't understand and people don't understand you, then that can cause a problem during your entire orientation, and even after orientation it can still cause some problems. All right, and then we talk about like the EMR. So depending on the EMR that they're using, it might be new to you because you're probably coming from somewhere that has been doing paper charting. So sometimes that's a bit of a challenge for you. But the companies usually try to do like classes with you, probably like 2 days of orientation with those EMRs, so that way it's easy for you to transition. You know where to chart the basic information when it comes onto your assessment, you know, extra notes, finding how to go about with medication management or administration, so it's not that bad. And then when it comes down to policies and protocols, then definitely when it comes down to your medication administration protocols, you learn more about those, your PPEs, when to use them, what patients, you know, how you do your precautions, stuff like that. They will teach you a little bit more about that. All right, fall prevention and safety reporting is another thing. And I always say if anything happens on the job, always go ahead and report it. It might be very simple, whether or not you slip, twist your ankle, whatever it is, go ahead and report it, file your little complaint online. That's one thing I would always tell, like, you know, nursing students or nurses, make sure you know how to file a complaint, all right? Because you're going to realize that you have so much complaint to file sometimes, because especially with you not knowing or understand the policies, the protocols of the facility, you want to get into the habit of filing everything so that way nothing goes, you know, unnoticed whenever it's time for you to do certain things. So definitely find out on the computer how to go about and make your complaints. You're not gonna complain about everything, you know, because you don't want to seem like what, the mama man, or you don't want to seem like the nurse that always complaining, you know, because after a while people will get annoyed. But there are certain things that definitely you want to document that is happening. So for example, you have a patient count, or you know the patient load is just too much, you want to go ahead and just document that, you know, file an actual complaint, so in the event that something happens, you're protected. You understand? Because remember, you have your license that you're working with, and that is going to be your livelihood. So if there is anything that is happening while you're at work, go ahead and document it. And I always say, if you can put somebody's name on the filing, you know, then go ahead and do that. All right. Zoldu 229, welcome. Flower, welcome. How art thou? All right. And then the other thing is, I know somebody was making mention of medication, or I think I did a video on medication administration. Make sure you're documenting appropriately. Make sure you're scanning your patient's medications and the patient wristband, and you're adhering to the different rights of medication administration. I know a lot of times we don't really sit down and say, oh, we're checking the right route and we're checking this and whatever, because, you know, sometimes you just look at the order and you see everything there. But when it comes on to certain medications, always go ahead and double check. You know, when it comes on to your insulin, your potassium, go ahead and double check. If it's a medication that you're not familiar with, go ahead and double check with another nurse. Let them say you asked too much question, but don't let it be a case where you didn't ask the question and something do happen, and then you are saying, if me did know, or you probably just lose your license. So definitely go ahead and do all of those checks to make sure that you're practicing safely and the patient is safe as well. All right. And especially when it comes on to your narcotics as well. A lot of times you might hear about diversion. A lot of persons are diverting medications. Regardless of how close you be with those persons, never trust anybody. You understand? Don't trust people when it comes on to your license. You work too hard for it for you to actually come here and be, you know, loosening up a little. You know, protect your license at all costs. When it comes on to signing off, you know, wasting, make sure you're doing the appropriate thing. You know, waste in front of the person, waste in the container that they have in the room. Make sure the camera is facing you. So in the event that something does happen, you have some form of discrepancy, you can always have enough proof to say, okay, then John was there at the time when I was wasting or pulling up, you know, this amount, or the camera is there. Go and check the camera to see what I was doing at that time. But don't let it be a case where you have a situation that is happening and you move away from your medication, you know, cart, or you move away from the narcotics box, whatever it is, and you are not aware of what is happening at that time, and then something does happen, and then you're going to be at fault. And it's the same thing when it comes on to your RSI kits, you know, the rapid sequence induction kits. A lot of times those have a lot of medications in there. Some places will put additional medications in there. You want to hold on to that because it does have some really strong medications in there as well. So you always want to just keep that in mind. If you are the one that pulled it from the the crash cart, not this, not the crash cart. If you're the one that pulls it from the medication, cart, always just be mindful of where it is at, so that way you can follow up on the medications that were used and all, because sometimes you might have emergencies and you might just be in the Pyxis at the time, at that time, or the Omnicell, the medication cart at that time, and somebody say, oh, bed 11 is crashing, or there's a patient coming in, they need a RSI kit, stuff like that. Definitely you can go ahead and just grab that medication box, but you want to keep track of it, so whenever the doctor puts the order in, you can go ahead and do the necessary sign off on those medication. All right, so you just have to think about, if it is an emergency, if it is something that can wait, then from there you decide. You understand? And once you're documenting appropriately, then usually that will help in terms of with covering certain bases. All right. Another thing is that when it comes on to the acuity of the patients, in terms of how sick the patients are, you have to be the kind of nurse that is going to be very quick with identifying those patients, because in the end, as I say, you don't want it to be a case where you have really sick patients that are in your care and you are so focused on a non-emergent, patient, and then something does happen. So be mindful that in terms of your critical thinking skills, you need to work on that. If that is something that you haven't been working on, find ways and means of improving on it. You understand? You have your patients, find out why you want to go to this patient first. Sometimes, for example, you might have a motor vehicle accident that comes in, and a lot of times you might hear the people say that the patient that doesn't have any opening, they don't seem like they have a wound, any injury, but you're hearing that this accident was like, going at 70 miles per hour, and the person is just sitting up looking like, everything is okay. But you have somebody else who is like, bleeding from different areas, but they're with it. But sometimes it might be so focused on the patient that has the wound, you understand, that is bleeding, and not focusing on that patient that is in shock. That person can be having internal bleeding as well. So you have to be mindful, look at different things, the vital signs, look at the patient, how they're presenting, and then from there, the patient that is bleeding, yes, probably has open wounds and everything, vital signs look fine, not looking like that patient is going into shock or anything like that. Run over to that patient that doesn't have any wound, because remember, that is an accident that was going at 70 miles per hour. Like, there must be something that is going on with that patient, whether or not it's a head trauma, there's internal bleeding that you're not able to see at this time, but go over there and examine the patient. Don't let it be a case where, we're so busy tied up with this one, and then this patient is over there having their bleeding, becoming hypotensive, and then just crashing out on you. All right, so think about all of those things, the mechanism of action, and see the different things. Visualize. When I'm working, I try to, and not as a nurse practitioner from long time, I don't know if it's just the working in Jamaica or a part of my training, whatever it is, you're always thinking about the differential diagnosis. What are some of the things that are happening with this patient? Find out what are detrimental, and then from there you can approach your patient and you start with the most important. What will kill the patient? Okay, and you work your way down to things that are, minor. So if you're having your mindset that this is how you approach your patients, you will realize that you will have the sickest patients being seen, things get done, you're good to go. You're not going to be in so much of a rush when it comes on to the other patients. Because in terms of prioritization, you'd realize that the sickest patient would have gotten the attention that was needed at the time, and then you can always move on to your other patients. All right, so remember, you evaluate, you assess your environment, you assess your patient, and in the back of your mind, just think about all the different things that is happening. A patient coming in, you hear about, oh, this patient is having shortness of breath. Don't just say, oh yeah, it's shortness of breath. Find out things like, how old is the patient? Are they having additional symptoms, walkie-talkie, things like that? Because in your mind, you want to prepare yourself for the patient. You want to prepare your room. You want to prepare the things that you're going to be getting. Is it a 90-odd-year-old that is having shortness of breath? That is going to be different from in terms of the workup from a patient that is probably, 30s, 20s, that is having shortness of breath. Think about all of those, and then you can pull your resources. Once you have your resources ready, a lot of times you won't find yourself like running back and forth because you are thinking about sepsis. You'd have gotten everything ready for sepsis for that patient, that 90-odd-year-old patient, versus somebody else who is like, 20-odd-year-old. You're probably thinking, oh, probably asthma can be, sepsis as well, but you might not need much. And especially if the patient is walking, talking, it makes life a little bit easier for you, because somebody walking in with shortness of breath, yeah, you'll give them their medication. It can always run into another patient's room, but you might have an 80-odd-year-old, 90-odd-year-old with shortness of breath. But then you're thinking about, okay, then what are the different things that are causing the shortness of breath? This patient is bedridden, patient probably have UTI, the patient has a ton of things going on. The doctor is going to work up that patient. So the entire medical textbook is going to get ruled out, and you're going to have to put in a lot of work on that patient. So find out things from before. It allows you to prep your room, get things in order. So even if you're that international nurse or that new nurse that is given that patient, at least you know that you had this 5 minutes, this 10 minutes to prepare the room. So even if nobody shows up with you in that room at that time, you have everything ready. So the only thing you might need is sometimes like a little extra hand with getting EKGs and all of those things done. But in terms of getting your IV started, your IV fluids, all of those things, it would be ready at the bedside for that patient. All right. After a while, you know what you're doing, unbroken. After a while, you know what you're doing. But as I say, in nursing school, when I was, in training, we had books that we were going to school. So you have a little book, your little notebook, that you have to do your differential diagnosis. And it was required. So if, for example, you're going for nursing clinicals and we're doing paper charting, but either way, you are assigned 4 patients and you're doing total patient care. So if the patient needs a NG tube, blood draw, whatever it is, you're working along with that nurse. All of those procedures, the nurse are going to have you do them. And not only that, your preceptor is going to come through on that day and going to find out, okay, then, which 4 patients you have, and find out, okay, then, what is going on with that one. And then it's your responsibility to go ahead and present that patient to the preceptor. And when you're presenting, you're giving your background, you're also doing your assessment. You understand? You're doing your assessment findings. You have to do your diagnosis. And the diagnosis wasn't like, say, shortness of breath. You have to use the different parts that comes with the nursing diagnosis and write it out and let them know. And it wasn't a case where you just say, oh, shortness of breath or respiratory problem or cough or whatever it is. You have to go ahead and do actual diagnosis. You had to do risk diagnosis. You understand? You had to do those kind of diagnoses. So, and that's one thing I was saying today. That's why it's so hard for me to precept students, because when I say to them, what is an actual diagnosis for this patient, it's like them lost. You understand? A lot of times they don't know what I'm talking about. When I say, give me a risk diagnosis, they don't know what I'm talking about. Give me a safety diagnosis, they don't know what I'm talking about. So if you're not able to come up with your diagnosis in the back of your mind and work along with planning the care for your patient, there's no way you're going to give the best care. The only thing you're going to be doing is that you're going to be sitting down waiting for doctors to put orders in, because you're not thinking about what is going on with the patient. You have things that we're able to do as nurses, and then the doctors will put in their orders just the same, and will carry out those orders. But if you are going to be advocating for your patient, if you're going to give the best care for your patient, you have to be working along with your nursing diagnosis, your actual diagnosis, your risk diagnosis, your safety diagnosis in order to plan out the care. And that was just how I was trained. So you do that, you come up with your plan of care for your patients, and the plan of care never involve, like, say, citing an IV and all of those things, because all of those orders are things that the doctors will put in. You understand? Yes, you'll add it as a part of it, but you have nursing activities or duties that you can do in the meantime until the doctor put their orders in. And once you're able to do that, I think you will do well in terms of, with your management for your patient. Oh, no, you're coughing, no. I would be like putting on my mask and calling it a day. I would tell her to go and get some cough syrup. I just messing, but yeah. You know, like when it comes on to your different respiratory symptoms and all, definitely I will do that. Doctor does the actual diagnosis though. Yes, the doctor does their actual diagnosis, but you have nursing diagnosis that you have as well. So you have your nursing diagnosis that you will go ahead, but overall the doctors does the diagnosis. But you have your nursing diagnosis, you know, the NANDA list, the NANDA list of diagnosis. Let's see if that still exists, because that's what I know. They were updating it for a long time, but you have the NANDA list of diagnosis, nursing diagnosis. So NANDA list of nursing diagnosis. Yes, it still does exist. Thank you, disciple of God. Yeah, so the NANDA list of nursing diagnosis. NANDA means North American Nursing Diagnosis Association International list of nursing diagnosis. So there are 267 approved nursing diagnoses. All right, and they're organized into domains like health promotion, nutrition, elimination, activity, and rest. All right, if you're supposed to do like a self-perception, a diagnosis, there is one that can be like chronic low self-esteem, things like that, risk for situational low self-esteem, disturbed personal identity. If you want one that is for coping and stress, you have like post-trauma syndrome, ineffective coping, elimination and exchange. There is one that is like impaired urinary elimination. Health promotion, always, you know, you always talk about readiness for enhanced learning or enhanced relationship, readiness for enhanced coping. So things like those, all right, you can actually use. So you had to know those, and that was a part of our, when we were doing our final exam as well, just before doing your boards exam for the RENR, which is the regional exam for nurses in the Caribbean. Then definitely we had to know those as well. So if you have a stroke patient, then you're expected to come up with some diagnosis as well for that patient. So there's no way you could be presenting a patient and not having diagnosis for them. All right, so if you wanted a respiratory diagnosis using the NANDA list, you have things like ineffective airway clearance. So say, for example, you have a patient that complains of cough, because cough is like, you know, a doctor's diagnosis, an actual diagnosis. Then definitely you could say ineffective airway clearance, because that is explaining inability to clear secretions or obstruction. All right. Ineffective breathing pattern is another one. So inspiration or expiration that does not provide adequate ventilation. Impaired spontaneous ventilation, and they kind of give you a little explanation as to what they're talking about. I just completed my practical exam and I had to write 4 care plans. That's exactly how I know it's supposed to be done. All right, so definitely, you know, that's the outline. So when I say you can always have your diagnosis, have your differential diagnosis, work with those as well as the ones that the doctors are going to be, you know, using as well. Because if you're able to do that, if you're thinking about the diagnosis, because just like when you go into the hospital, you might go in with abdominal pain, and depending on where after they examine you, the doctor might say, oh, this looks like appendicitis. So they go ahead and start doing certain orders for you at that time. You understand? And then they will go ahead and confirm. So it's basically the same thing. You hear that the patient is coming in, the patient is having burning on urination, patient is confused, things like those. You go ahead and you think about, what is it? Is it sepsis? Is it, you know, a UTI? Whatever it is that is going on. Create your own diagnosis and come up with your clear care plans. And then from there, you just work your way through with your management. If come over, make sure we don't know. You're not easy, you know, unbroken. You're not easy at all. But yeah, that's how I know how it's supposed to be done. All right, fire, welcome. How are you doing? Thank you for the heart me. Remember to go ahead and do your heart me's, guys. All right. Remember to do your heart me and Fire. You never tell me that part here. Fire is one of my classmates from primary school. Yeah. So you never tell me about this part. So there's a section on TikTok that I was supposed to be doing. But yeah. So definitely go ahead and do that, and then from there. And Fire is instructor. All right. Well, go on.
Then one big up, bless up, give thanks. Well, go on. I will never tell you now.
Huh?
What did I not tell you?
About TikTok, like I'm there, so it's all of these heart me, but there's something that I was supposed to be doing with the heart me as well. Are you doing those? It's supposed to be clicking on the heart me and then do the different
Collect
things.
your coins.
Collect the coins. Yeah. Huh?
No, points. You should collect your rewards or whatever it is. I thought you knew.
No, sir. I'm new to TikTok.
Yeah.
So I
claim the points then.
Oh, I have to do that one next day. I don't know what I do, but anyways, because the guy said that I'm supposed to. I think I'm at D. Him said that I'm at D5 or something like that. But I don't really know anything about the different D's. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you will learn eventually.
Yeah, I guess. So how work today?
I'll go right today because we have interview tomorrow.
Okay, nice. Well, I hope you do well on the interview.
Hope so too.
Huh?
I'm hoping as well.
Yeah, man.
2 interviews actually.
Okay. In the same hospitality?
Yeah. My employment has to be in hospitality. Cannot be anywhere else.
Anywhere else? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a stipulation.
Okay. Well, I hope it works out for you. Hope it works out.
What is the occasion tonight, class?
It wasn't really any class like official class. I was talking about some orientation things, but it wasn't like questions or anything. It was just like general orientation tips I was going through.
Okay.
So yeah,
I was just getting ready to be moderating the comment section.
Oh yes, man, go ahead and do so. But the folks are on their best behavior. I have some really good followers. Yeah, man, they're really good.
To pin any question I thought you missed, or anything like that, So pay attention. But since it's not class, Yeah.
Okay. So let me go off of this topic a little bit. So the other day I resigned. Well, yeah, I resigned from my job, right? I did send in with immediate effect. And so before the boss could actually call me to find out what was happening, she went ahead and canceled my collaboration, that I have with a provider. And I was like, that's just weird. But anyways, she canceled on the same day, but yet still she's asking me to complete the remainder of the month with seeing the patients. I'm like, you didn't even call and find out what was happening. You just go ahead and just cancel the collaboration physician that I had. So I was like, you know what? That is not even a done deal. But either way, I wasn't planning on continuing with her either way. So there is another provider who went ahead and quit. I thought she would have quit a long time ago. So apparently she told the lady that she's not working with her again. She quit with immediate effect. And then the person called her, that's the boss, called her. Oh, she called the boss because the boss is asking her to continue working, for the remainder of the month. So she says, no, she's not going to continue working. So she texted me to say that the owner canceled her collaborating physician agreement and is asking her to. So she asking her to work the remainder of the month. So she called her and asked her what is happening. You know, she said that, oh, it's for a provider, a NP called Stacy, by the name of Stacy. She canceled. But she lied, you see? She's such a liar. It's not even funny because the amount of time this lady say things, and I'm like, okay then. Because on the same day when I sent in my resignation, not even 2 hours later, she literally canceled the agreement. And she did the same thing with this young lady, because the young lady is saying that, look at this, she literally canceled her agreement and is still asking her to work. You understand? But she's always complaining about money. And that was just it. She says, I know she canceled you the same day and she thinks that I'm stupid. I tell you, sometimes you see these people out there, I don't know what they're up to, you know. But they're thinking that they're smart. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, but I thought she would have quit a long time ago. Or, you know, but to each his own. Yeah. So that's just it. But they behave like, you know, they're smarter than everybody else, because it doesn't seem like she probably she never knew that we were gonna get the notification to say that it is canceled. So I guess she's trying to see if you can still continue working with, you know, with her, with seeing patients and not knowing that the collaborating physician agreement is canceled. But if you're gonna ask somebody to, if you want somebody to continue seeing your patients, like, just talk with them, and then from there, if they said no, then you can always go ahead and cancel the agreement. But don't cancel the agreement and still be asking them to see patients. You understand? No, but
no fear at all.
well, I didn't know that I was planning on continue working with her. So whether or not she had canceled it at that time, you know, or she had asked me to continue working, it was still gonna be a no, because there must be a reason why I give it immediate effect. You understand? There must be a reason. I say immediate effect and I put the date there. So I was making an error when I was saying that I'm leaving. I put the immediate effect, the date, which means today or the last. You understand? So that was just it. But the young lady said she quit. But I don't know, like, some of these persons who are doing these practices, like, they have so many patients, they don't have, you know, enough providers to take care of the patients, and they're doing just so much. They're just doing so much just because of money. That's just it. They're just doing so much, and they're not treating their providers properly, you know, or they're not treating them well. They're not listening to them. They don't make the providers seem as though they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, because it's like they want to micromanage you, and they want their office staff to micromanage you as well. Like, they're the ones that went to NP school. You understand? I hate it. I don't like it. Like, you don't tell me how to go about with taking care of patients. If you are a nurse, if you are a doctor, if you are whatever, everybody have their roles and their responsibility, and you are trained to do certain things. You understand? So you can never be a medical assistant and tell me how to go about with putting in orders. Like, that don't make no sense. And then when I say to you, you're gonna tell me that, oh, they're working there for years. You're really business with that. Whose license are they working on? You understand? They're working there for years, but they're working in what capacity? These persons are working in capacity of insurance rep. They're working in the capacity of secretary. Like, how are they supposed to tell me what my orders are supposed to be as a nurse practitioner? Like, how is that even possible? If I say this is what I want, how is it that you're going to change my order? How is it that even possible? You don't call and tell me that, oh, you need to change your order. Change what order? Like, you're crazy. But anyways, you know, that's just the reality of, you know, some practices out there. So just be mindful, be careful when you go out there, you know, just read up, find different groups, you know, and ask questions. Hear, you know, how persons are doing in different setting, so you don't find yourself in those kind of environments that will rob you of your license. You understand? Because a lot of people, yes, they want to make all of these money, but eventually they will get caught. All right? And you don't want to be a case where they get caught and your license is tied up in situations like those. So when you realize that there are certain things going on, you just stick with yourself. You understand? Just call it a day and quit. Lady Lisa, welcome. All right, so back to the orientation tips. We kind of went off a little bit. All right, so back to the orientation tips I have here. And as I say, if you're joining in late and you want to hear the full video, go ahead on to YT at ThinkNursing, one word. subscribe to the page, and the video will be over there. And if you're on YT, you haven't followed me on TikTok as yet, go ahead and do so. Ask whatever questions, inbox me, text me, whatever it is you want to do. Go ahead and send a message and I will respond. All right. All right, let's get back to this thing here. So we did talk about that. What was the best you did in salary as a... What was the best you did in salary as a nurse? I don't want to talk about money. Why don't I want to talk about money? Why don't I always want to talk about money? We're in Jamaica. In terms of, so it depends. No, I don't have a problem with you asking. It depends. It depends on the state. It depends on the state and depends on your years of experience. So depending on your years of experience, it's gonna vary, and the state is gonna vary as well. If you're doing regular like RN position, it's gonna vary as well. And if you're gonna be doing travel contracts, then it's gonna vary. So anywhere between and this was because the cap was, I think the cap was like $52 at one point. Yeah, travel does pay a lot. But starting out, it was like probably like 45 at one point. That was the highest. And then you think about like shift differentials. So it depends on the company. Then you can have shift differentials for that as well. All right, but when I just started, I started out with $26, $29 thereabout in 2016 with the recruiting company. And then after I completed my contract in 1.5 years time, I did started out around 34 or something like that based on my years of experience. But with travel nursing, it does pay good. You just have to remember that with travel nursing, a lot of times, and I always say, if you are a new nurse or if you're an international, well, a lot of times the international nurses, you probably won't be able to do the travel contract. But if you are, new to the system, then definitely you don't want to rush into getting into a travel nursing contract, because a lot of times, well, when you get here, you're going to be seen like as a traveler nurse. You understand? A travel nurse. It's going to be like a long-term travel contract. So you will realize that purses will give you the worst of the worst patients. You're going to get the sickest patients. And so you have to take that into consideration. If you are the kind of person that is very weak in terms of your strength with nursing, if you're in terms of, critical thinking, if you can't work under pressure, travel nursing is not for you. You understand? Get your little experience, build on certain things, time management, your skills, talking up, advocating, things like that. Because eventually you will realize that it's going to be in your favor. Because when you go into certain places, people are not going to see you as, oh, the international nurse, the new nurse. They're just going to see you as somebody that is making a lot of money, because that's what they think. You understand? Not all the time you might find contracts that are paying a lot of money, because sometimes the contracts don't make any sense. But you have persons who do the contracts because they want to experience something different. You have some persons who are like in Mississippi. You have some persons who are in like Nebraska. Them country places there. They will move out from those places like Maine. They will move out from those places to come to like different places like Texas. They want to go to California. But even so, California and Texas pretty, California and New York are really good places where they pay a lot of money. You understand? Texas is okay depending on the company as well. So you might find persons from those areas that will take up travel contracts, and the contracts might not be paying that much. But in terms of where they're coming from, just like you and I, who is an international nurse, we might be in a third world country and the money not good down there. It's not enough to, sustain you. So you decide to take a contract and you come here and you hear that, oh, we're giving you $20, $25. It's still better than what you were getting in your home country. It's the same thing with, these nurses in those rural places. You'll find that they will take the contract, because it might be an extra $5 more than what they're earning. So, but you in that same state might look at it and say, but that don't make no sense. Why would I do a travel contract for $2,000? You understand? It don't make no sense, but to other persons it will make sense for them. How do you work nights? Because I get sleepy at night. And just work it. Like I tell people that, so when I'm tired, how do I do it? I don't even know how I do it, because people always ask me the same thing, like how I do nights, because I don't do caffeine any at all. Zero caffeine. I'm not running on anything that Americans run on. That caffeine, I'm not running on any caffeine. How I do it, I don't know. I just try to sleep in the daytime. I usually don't sleep that well on, like, the first 2 days when I'm on nights, because it's just kind of hard. So like probably the third day, I will eventually go ahead and try to sleep. I'll go into bed and lie down, I'll probably get like say 1 or 2 hours. By 4:30, I'm still up. You understand? I'm getting up around 4:30, go to gym 5 o'clock, and then 5:30, 6 o'clock, kind of cooling down thereabouts, and then I will get in for work. But sometimes I'm feeling tired. But the thing about it is that once I shower and I put on my clothes and I head out, it's like my eyes, I'm just open up. Like I am just ready for work. You understand? I'm ready for work. So I go in, and then by 2 o'clock in the morning is usually the time when we start yawn, because it's not that busy. It's too quiet, and then the place is too cold. But then by 4 o'clock, 4:30, a lot of nursing homes tend to have their patients now hypoglycemic, and everybody is getting, resuscitation or something going on. So you have the excitement coming in around that time, and then before you know it, it's time to go home. So after a while, I just kind of get used to it, but that's how I do it. When I get home, I probably go to the gym in the morning, and then by 10 o'clock, I'll be trying to go to sleep. 12 o'clock, me probably still up and watch TV. 1 o'clock, my eyes them just barely are closed. And then by 2 o'clock, I'll go to sleep until 4:30, 5 o'clock, go back at gym, and then the cycle is continue. So, yeah, but I don't do anything else apart from that. Oh, I can't. I see you getting a little gray hair. A little gray hair this year. A little gray hair. I understand. It's just that I wear them good. I'm wearing them good. Island Breezy walk one. No, dear. I'm not. I am not rich at all. All right. I'm rich in blessings. All right. I'm rich in blessings. Not yet. Exactly. Not yet. So when we reach, everybody going to know. You understand? Everybody going to know when we reach. You understand? Because things are going to be happening. Is the stress getting to you? So probably the stress I come from, no, it was more, I feel as though it's more from, because it's just like this side. I have 1 and 2, but then again, I'm in an age, so it's not stress. Probably stress added to it as well, but not, not no big stress like that. I am thinking probably at one point I'd flat iron my hair. That's what I blame it on. But I know from years ago I did have 1 gray hair right here that I was kind of cherishing, and then it break, and then that was it. And then I had flat ironed this side of my hair because I was trying to try out this. You're coming to America, you want to try out different hairstyles because you feel as though you're going to be able to maintain it. Yeah, so I decided to put in a little weave. I never really like it, and flat iron the front of it, but eventually I cut it off and call it a day. But I'm thinking that's what I'm blaming it on. You understand? But either way, I'm getting into age, so we're gonna get 1 and 2 gray hair. Yeah, so it's there. I'm leaving it right there. That's it. Yes, fire. Unbroken say if it's stress. And plus, when I was pregnant too, I was
A wisdom.
Exactly. But when I was doing my transition, I was like stressed out too. I was so stressed out because I was transitioning, found out that I was pregnant. I just started school, And then it was like the worst pregnancy of all because I was like living on saltine crackers and ginger ale for my entire 9 months of pregnancy. And the doctor not even want to take the baby at 9 months. You understand? Because there was nothing going on. The doctor just decided that, okay, then let's go to 40 weeks. Let's go to 41. It's like the doctor wanted to carry me all the way to 45. So stress was there for that time period as well. It stressed me out, man. It stressed me out. And then after that, you have, you know, the post-pregnancy stress, the fogginess, the, you know, the memory fog that people talk about. Yeah, that was there. And still trying to complete classes with a young baby and all them stuff there. Yeah, stress that killed me them time there. Because I never really know how to be a mother. I never really had much help. You understand? I had my husband who was able to take care of the baby, because at that time I think I did my part for 9 months. You understand? So he was doing the part with, you know, taking care of the baby, and I was trying to rest. But even so, I couldn't really rest because I still had classes doing. So yeah, the job can do that to you. Yeah, man, the job can do that to you as well. American the job in America will do that to you, because honestly, when I was in Jamaica, I never really feel as though I was like, say, stressed like that, to the point where, yeah, I never really feel like I was stressed out. I would be working 16 hours, probably like 4 or 5 days, well, 4 days per week, you know, because we were always short staffed. And even so, you know, you always just want to show up to work. You understand? You have 3 days to work here and it's 12 hours. Some days you don't even feel like you want to go to work because of everything that is going on. You understand? There's just like too much going on in the department. And it depends on where you're working. Too much going on. You have the stress with the patients, you know, in terms of whatever is happening with them. You have to deal with the family members, and then sometimes you have to deal with the colleagues. So there was just so much going on in the department as well. That will definitely do that. In pregnancy, I heard that a woman agitates quickly. Yeah, because hormone is going, you know, the hormone through the roof. So what you expect? You understand? It was difficult. It was a difficult pregnancy for me. So that's why I'm kind of scared of pregnancy. Kind of scared of it, because if I have to go back through that again, no sir, I don't really know I'm going to do that one day. I'd have to be a stay-at-home mom. You understand? And just lie down and just have a really good relaxed pregnancy. You understand? No, I feel work on them stuff there. I'm just hoping that, you know, my second pregnancy will be a good one. But in terms of nausea, vomiting, heartburn, weight loss, yeah, man, I couldn't even recognize myself. So I'm trying to, you know, yeah, we'll see how that works out in the future. But for now, kudos to all of the mothers out there and the high premises. How many more? You know that if I could have a twin, that would be nice. Lord, bless this womb. Oh God, if I have a twin, that would be nice, but one should be okay. You know, one more should be fine. I just don't want my son to grow up lonely and selfish. You know, sometimes when they don't have anybody, and I don't want it to be a case where when I get old, you know, him don't have anybody to help with comforting him apart from him wife. You know, them way there, because I know I'm going to be married. Speak it into being, Lord. But yeah, I don't want it to be a case where I'm sick, or, you know, we're sick and he doesn't have anybody there with him at this, you know, at his side, things like that, like family member, like, you know, a sibling. So I definitely want to have more kids, so at least one more. I know it's a little bit late, but I still want, you know, it's better late than never. You understand? But just to think of it that is only one I have out there is just kind of, no, the Bible says be fruitful and multiply. You understand? So I just want him to have company. So one more should be fine. Don't ask me when yet. Whenever the time is, whenever you see my nose start blow up. Whenever you see my nose get a little bit bigger than what it is, then you'll know that, you know, probably there is a baby on the way. You're good, man. You're good. Sports in Jamaica? Sports day, or is it sports day you're watching, or politics? I remember when I was in college playing around, a girl told me symptoms of pregnancy. I almost, oh my pants. Yeah, the symptoms are, what it is. Can be confusing sometimes. So she said, I don't know, but my stomach has been hurting. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah. Sometimes, they can have, but everybody have their own little different symptom. Political thing. Yes, Jamaica sports political thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it depends. So that's where you had your first child? Unbroken? Just being inquisitive now because you asked a lot of questions, but it was a false alarm. Uh-oh. Okay. How many kids do you have? Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Can join in. Oh, one daughter? Okay, nice. How old is your daughter? I'd want to have a daughter. Well, whatever the Lord blesses me with, I will take it. 11 years? Okay, nice, nice, nice. Yeah, just the one I have. He's gonna be 7 in October. Next month he's gonna be 7. But he's already singing on, being 8. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be 8. I'm like, you're not even 7 as yet. Like, but I guess age is like a big thing for them now. Yeah, so that's just it. Dan Hugh Gray, welcome. How are you doing? Yeah, he is. Because nowadays he doesn't want me to pat him. He doesn't want me to pat him. He came home from school one day and he was just saying, like, all this time, I never know that, patting would have been so much easier for me in terms of putting him to bed. Not saying that he is a bit of a problem going to bed. I don't have that, all of those problems that you hear that people talk about. I don't experience it with him, like eating certain things, and I don't have any problems with that. Wetting the bed, and I don't have no problem with that. Puking on me, vomiting on me, I don't have no problem with that. Knock on wood, thank you, Lord. I guess probably because I had a really bad pregnancy. So the Lord kind of just decided to give me a son that is pretty decent, let's just say. But I don't have any of those little problems where you hear the baby go in the corner and poop and vomit down the entire place and, things like that. No, I don't experience any of that. So he's a good one. So if I can get a baby like, another one like him, then that would be a plus. You understand? That would be a plus. He goes to bed by himself, he wakes up. If I'm sleeping, he'll just go and lie down as well and sleep. You understand? The only thing I have a problem with is the fact that he doesn't eat. He's very picky. So the only thing he eats, and I think probably because I'm thinking, when I was pregnant, the only thing I was having was saltine crackers and the ginger ale. That was it for my entire pregnancy. I remember having a Chick-fil-A sandwich because I was on about 6 different nausea medication. Yeah, I was on about 6 different nausea medication, and I had gotten the 8 milligrams of Zofran, and I took it, and I was passing Chick-fil-A. I've always seen Chick-fil-A, and I've never been there. That was when I was in Maine. And I decided, like, I could feel like I know I wanted something to eat at that time. So I decided to go in the Chick-fil-A line, because no, the Chick-fil-A line wasn't long. Because every time I see the Chick-fil-A line, it reminded me of KFC in Jamaica on a Friday. The line was just long. So I was like, oh, probably something good going on over there. So I went over there, ordered one of their sandwich. And I tell you, I came out of the drive-through and went into the parking lot. And I sat there and I eat the sandwich. And the sandwich was so good. So, so me go back again and get another one. So I had another sandwich. And then by the time I drive home, I was feeling so good. Come here, I say, yes, man, I find the medication. By the time I went upstairs, it was like, back into wherever. And that was it. I don't remember having anything else like during my pregnancy. So I was very, very concerned. The doctor said that, the baby was fine. I've never had any milk. I don't have any grains, nothing at all. It was just saltine crackers and ginger ale and ginger sweetie. That was it. If I take anything in, it was coming back up like as soon as I swallow it 15 minutes later, it was just coming back up. I was just eating it for, not necessarily the fun of eating it, but just for eating its sake, because I know that my stomach wasn't tolerating it. And so no, and then I was doing 11 to 11. I was doing like some princess shift, 11 to 11, and sometimes I would be coming off at 2 o'clock. Sometimes I'll go in for 8-hour shifts. So as I say, you have to know when to go in for work. So if you want to make money, you have to know the busy time, you know, the quiet time, and take advantage of that. And every hour counted towards my contract. So all of those hours were just kind of adding up to me getting closer to signing on full-time with the company so we can go on maternity leave early. But, you know, 2 o'clock in the mornings, I normally go to McDonald's. There was a McDonald's that would be, you know, right there on the side of the road when I was leaving work. So I normally would go to McDonald's. And when I go to McDonald's, I would normally order the fries because the fries were so salty. And I would sit in the McDonald's parking lot at like 2:30 in the mornings and be eating my fries. And then I'll drive home. And then by the time I get upstairs, again, it was, you know, in the toilet. And that was it. Like every time I'm coming from work, that was it. Couldn't really tolerate anything. And funny enough, my son, he loves McDonald's fries. That's the only thing he'll eat. McDonald's fries, and he'll have Chick-fil-A, you know, the Chick-fil-A chicken strips. He'll have that. And he'll have mashed potato. He'll have white rice. He doesn't like anything with gravy. He loves chicken breast. So it has to be like, you know, white, dry. No oil, no grease, nothing. And I'm like, oh, probably that stems from my pregnancy, I'm thinking. He doesn't drink like, I have to like force him to drink like milk and all of those things. He doesn't have cheese. Doesn't have cheese. He doesn't do like, you know, sweets and ice cream. If you give him ice cream right now, the ice cream just melt and just, you know, but he'll tell you that he loves ice cream. He'll tell you that he loves pizza. But he's not eating any of those. He'll probably just bite on it and that's it. But you give him dumpling, he'll eat the dumpling, you know? Things like those. But it has to be nothing with grease. So I'm not the kind of parent that when I go into the supermarket, I'm having problems with my child screaming for this. No, him just walk past like a big man. Him not see them. Him not see snacks and those things. So that's just it with him. Yeah, he's my little, you know, gentleman. And I love it. I love him. Yeah, I don't have any issues with tantrums. Yeah, when I'm going through airport, him walk like a big man. Him know that, you know, you pull your own suitcase. Them kind of style there. I don't have any problems with him. None whatsoever. So I think I'm just blessed in that department. So if I can have another one like, you know, like him. But people are saying that, no, it's not going to be that easy. So I'm scared. Do you ever give him the Caribbean discipline? Do I ever give him the Caribbean discipline? All the time. Him know the voice by now. And him know that I will spank him, yes. You know, the little spanking on the hand. You know, that's what we say. But I do, if he does something, then I'll literally spank him. But then he will be like, oh, no, you know. So he gets it by now. But from longer time, from early days, I think one time we had gone into the supermarket and I don't know what had happened at school. And he decided to sit down on the floor. Didn't want to get up. So I said, what you doing? Probably was like 2 or 3 years old at that time. And I just pull him up and let him stand on his feet. You understand? And from there, he never put himself back on the floor again. So I do the Caribbean discipline, but I don't really beat him like, you know. Don't really beat him like that. But he knows that if he misbehave or if he does something, then he's gonna get punishment. And the punishment, you know, can be going in the corner. He doesn't like the corner, so he will be on his best behavior. Yeah, but I don't have any issues like when I go on the road. Those kind of embarrassment, no. Because by the time I look on him, or if I say Zarian, him know that the tone, you know that tone that everybody say we have? Yeah, man, when him hear that tone, yeah, man, him kind of pull himself together. Yeah, Mavis, welcome. Nurse Analia, welcome. Christine. So, yeah, and then even with the tablet, like, you know, sometimes they hear people come and say that, oh, the kids having tantrums and they tell them and they're talking back to them, things like that. No, me not have time for them stuff there, and I'm a very busy lady. I don't have time to be talking 2 times or 3 times. So once I explain to him that, you know, 1 time is, or I'll go 2 times, but I don't intend to be repeating myself 2 times all the time, you know, then he gets it. And if he doesn't get it, then I'll discipline him. And he doesn't want to be disciplined, so he will eventually get it. So I just need to talk to him 1 time, and that's it. And a lot of times I realize it's when he goes back to school. So like, no, for the first 2 weeks, usually you can see that there's a new student in class. Yeah, man, something new is going on in class. So he doesn't have his friends now at school. 2 of his friends are not at school anymore. So because I was asking the teacher what's going on, you know, I hear him come home saying certain words. She's like, yeah, he has some new classmates and all. I'm like, okay. And then you kind of just question and ask, okay, who do you hear with this? And then he'll just ring a bell. He'll just say a name. And then I'll just go back to school and be like, do you have this person in the class? Or, you know, and just kind of be like, yeah, just, you know, just be mindful of that. But otherwise, once I kind of grip him for that first 2 weeks, him know that for the remainder of the term, certain things, not going to tolerate it. But yeah, they're never too young to be disciplined, you know. You have to start from early, because if you don't start from early, that's when you have them at 10 years old locking door on you and telling you to step out of them room, and they're talking back at you like, you know, them a pay mortgage or anything like that. So that's the problem. But I don't have that kind of problem with him. So knock on wood. Yeah. Achendum Raymond. Yeah. So who do you forecast for, you know, the party? Who do you think is going to be winning the election today on Broken or Fire?
Or with the edge of my chair, I fret.
Oh, okay then. Which party leading?
Bro, got a lead, you know.
Boy, bro got a lead. Oh, mother day. Huh? So the whole of South Manchester right about now supposed to be on edge.
One thing I don't count it. You know?
Oh, well, let the best, you know, the best party wins. So we'll see.
Okay, I got 4-4 right
now. Okay, I don't look on anything. I want Andrew to win because I don't want no man that don't look like his people. I can't bother with you, you know, unbroken. Can't bother with you. What about me? I don't mind if, you know, I am, let me see. I'm more of a, you know, the fingernail. Well, not really the fingernail, but, you know, my family, my background is is with the head. All right. My background is with the head. And I think, you know, the Bell has been doing some really good things, I must say. I must commend them on a lot of things. And one of them is the crime. I know that when it comes on to healthcare, that is something that we really need to address. And whichever party is gonna be focusing on that as well, definitely I will go for them. I know both of them has some really good plans, but really and truly, if I was down there, I would have probably put the finger by the X. I'm not lie, honestly. I'll probably put the finger by the X. Other persons might say otherwise. I don't really hear all of the, you know, the different plans that they have, each party have. I think probably if I focus on that a little bit more in detail, then I would probably choose something else. But yeah, I'm not really into anything political right about now. as far as I'm concerned, there's just so much work, and we just need to come together and make sure it work out for, you know, the people of the country. And that's just where I stand with it. But as I say, if I hear the different plans, I never listen to the debate itself. I never listen to the debate. I guess if I had listened to it, then I could probably come to. But based on what I've seen, you know, over the past couple of years, I think Andrew Holness, the Honorable Dr. Andrew Holness, has been doing some really good things for the country. And I think if he gets another chance, you know, who knows what he'll do. And that's just where I stand on it. But the health sector really needs, you know, attention. And yeah, as well as with the nurses. Well, that comes under the health sector. But in terms of the resources, you know, getting those equipment, hospitals up to date with certain things, we definitely need those. And with nurses getting better salaries and consideration for international nurses or nurses who have migrated from Jamaica, you know, if they have really good plans for getting them back into the country, that is something else that would be nice. Because I know that, you know, for my IT, would have gone down there a long time. You understand? If they had something in place that is paying, like, you know, your advanced nurse practitioners or your advanced providers a decent salary when they're in the country, then I know a lot of persons will go back and give back. And I think that will help with, you know, improving the health sector in a sense. I don't like politics, but I would rather something that looks like me run a country. Okay, totally understand you. Totally understand what you're saying. Have you seen the movie of Sinner? No. I just finished watching the series called Sullivan's Crossing. That was nice. Sir Brooks, thank you for tuning in. Are you that? Okay. Fire. Thank you for tuning in. Stacy D, welcome. How are you doing? Nurse Anelia. Yeah, but I haven't seen that movie. I haven't seen that movie. What time is it? 8:44. Not a sinner, but Sinners. Oh, Sinners. No, I haven't seen that movie. Is it on Netflix? Okay. I probably could take a look at it. But, you know, sometimes I really like the movie that's still, you know, but I can take a look at it and then from there, you know, probably give it a watch. Yeah. I don't really like some of them stuff there. Alright. I need to watch it on YouTube for like $2.99 or $3.99. And do you have it to is it like renting, or you'll have it to watch later on for that $3? So I have this thing. I don't know what is happening with the setup for. If you watch that movie, you will see why I want Andrew to win. Okay. I get you. Okay. More like renting. Okay, alright. I'll take a look at it. Probably just do a preview on on YT. Yeah. I am Sashana. Welcome. How are you doing? Guess who am I? Who are you? Jean Robert 600. Welcome. Yeah, so I have this thing. I'm trying to send a prescription for this patient since Friday, and I don't know what's happening with the app that we use. It's not, well, we use the app and we also use the software, but nobody seems to know why it's not allowing the medication to be transmitted to the pharmacy, and the patient is like so upset. Patient is so upset, but I don't know what else to do. I don't know what else to do. Ask somebody else if they can see the patient and send it. But they don't want to, because that person does admission. And then the other providers. But I'm like, you know, sometimes we still do televisits, because I can stay here and probably do televisit in another state. You know, what's the difference with another person doing televisit on that patient that is in the practice? So sometimes I think we're a little bit difficult to our own. I don't really know. Yeah, because you do televisits all the time. We do televisits all the time. And if I am having problems with the system, because they called on engineering to try to figure out why it's giving a problem. Because today's what, Wednesday? And this is from last week. And I can't send any controlled substance. I don't know what's happening. I'm getting it approved, because you're supposed to, when you go on the online, you send out the prescription, and then I'll get a message, and I have to confirm it on my phone. I have to approve it, so it goes through. But when I go back onto the charting system, like the EMR that we use, it's saying that it's not approved, but it's approved on my phone. So it's something to do with the charting system, but they can't figure out what it is. So they're working on it. So I did ask somebody to just kind of help me out. See the patient as a televisit, virtual visit. You're not driving to the patient's house, but you just need to have some documentation to order the medication. But they said no. So I'm like, you know, I don't know. But when are you coming on tomorrow? Yeah, I'm coming on tomorrow. Come on, where? I'm coming on tomorrow. So tomorrow is usually, well, I've started the NCLEX, you know, review. So we're gonna do some questions. Not that we're gonna say NCLEX review. We're gonna do just like study questions, because it's not only for NCLEX testers. Persons who are in the Caribbean who is gonna be doing the RENR, which is the regional exam, can also benefit from it. So it's like a general, you know, nursing study questions. So I'm coming on tomorrow again. And then from there, do travel nurses ever have issues finding houses in DFW? Oh, some I think so. They have a lot of places that you can actually, you know, Airbnb down this side. You can rent a lot of places down here. Are you a nurse, Unbroken? Yeah, you have a lot of places that you can Airbnb. Fashion app? Nope, I'm a truck driver. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, smells good. Oh, Lord. All right. Because I was thinking about offering them housing. You can go ahead and just do your thing. Go ahead and put it up. And if you have reasonable, you know, if your rates are pretty reasonable, then you will eventually have people to do that. Investing in real estate. Yeah, that's something that you can't go wrong with. You understand? Something that you can't go wrong with. Yeah, Kitchen Walk on. Thank you for tuning in and liking up the live. I need to come on your page and sit down and listen to how you go about with teaching about TikTok, you know, because I'm clueless when it comes on to TikTok. So I'm going to come on to your live one day and just sit down and listen to you talk a lot about, you know, TikTok, because I need to understand it a little bit more. Connect me. Invest in you. No, in real. Maybe you could connect me with the nurses, or they have this thing that I don't remember the website. I think I had it on my phone at one point, where a lot of persons will go ahead and list. They list their. They will go ahead and do their listing. So you can always go ahead and add your listing there, and then from there, hopefully persons will reach out. Yeah, I totally understand. Yeah, but there are some websites that persons will definitely go on to find housing, and sometimes you have the travel company. They have like relationships with like different companies as well that will give discount, and so you'll have them on their app, with nurses using their app to get, like, different deals in different places. So that's the other thing as well. But you'll always have persons wanting places to rent. I'd have to look that up. That could get me in contact with. I'd have to look that up. But I remember there was this one that a lot of persons tend to use a lot. I don't know how many persons on here, is a nurse, does travel nursing, know of the, I think it is, it's not House Finder, Furnish Finder. What is it called? I don't remember. What is it? But there is this one that you can actually, I don't remember. If I remember it, I'll definitely save it. And then from there, I did have it at one point, and then I deleted it because I was like, I'm not doing any more contracts. So I deleted the app off my phone. Because at that time it was telling me that I had too much, I didn't have much space on my phone. So I kind of deleted some of the apps that I had downloaded. But I think it was like Furnish Finder or something like that. Let me look that up. But people do a lot of listing there, and because I have a friend who put his house on the market there in Florida. Oh, so I'll ask him. Furnish. What's his name? Furnish Finder. And you can do apartments as well. Apartments.com, Furnish Finder. But I know, I think it was Furnish Finder. 30 plus day furnished rental. Okay, so yes. So Furnished Finder. So this you can do 30 plus day furnished rentals for traveling nurses and business professionals. So the Furnished Finder, just go on Google and look it up, and then you can do your ad. You can add your property to it. Georgia Miller, welcome. How are you doing? Thank you for tuning in. All right, so yard, kitchen, center, heart, me. Okay, oh yeah. All right, so all right, but yeah, basically that's about that. Do we have any questions, any concern before I go? I think I've been on the live for how long now? Almost 2 hours. I did tell myself, say I'm not gonna be doing the live so long, Yeah, but anyways, it was nice chit-chatting as usual. So I'm gonna go, and then I will see you guys tomorrow. You can show up tomorrow again for the live. We can go, tomorrow is what, Thursday night? Yeah, we can stay up all night. Not all night, but until later on in the night. All right, Zarian, go take off your glasses. It's night, time for bed. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and then from there we'll have more chit chat. You can come back and ask any additional questions you have. You can also inbox me on TikTok. All right, and if you're serious about certain things, then you can get the number where we can talk on WhatsApp. All right, but definitely inbox me any questions you have. And as I say, I'm a nurse, so if you need any questions answer, nurse related, feel free to reach out. All right, so until then, what cartel would I say? What under my nose? I'm out. All right, I'm out. All right then, guys, enjoy your evening. All right, and thanks for so much for tuning in. Fire, if you're not sleeping. Oh, all right then. Well, I'll talk with you later tomorrow. What time are you interview?
12:30.
Okay, so that's about 11:30 for me. Okay, well, we'll chat then later.
Alright, big up yourself.
Yeah, man, later. All right, bye, guys. All right, bye. Unbroken, thank you so much for being such an active participant on the chat. I really do appreciate you taking the time out, you know. Yeah, so big up to you. Big up, big up, big up. All right. I guess we will talk. All right, and I don't know who just joined in, but thank you so much for tuning in. You can go ahead and follow my page. All right, I'll be on live tomorrow doing study questions, so if you are interested in that, feel free to do so as well. All right, so enjoy your night and stay safe now, unbroken. All right. Let me see if I type here, I type something. All right, then. I guess not. All right, bye.